Good enough? Nah. That's for nobodies. That's for the guys who punch in, punch out, and go home to their little life, their little paycheck, their little dreams. You think the world remembers those guys? You think history writes their names in gold? You want to be a legend? Then you gotta act like one. Every empire, every fortune, every kingdom ever built, none of it came from men who sat back waiting for things to happen. It came from the ones who made it happen. You think the greats were satisfied with average? You think they looked at their first dollar and said, yeah, this is enough? Number, they wanted more, and more, and more. Because that's the difference between a king and a peasant. A peasant is happy with scraps. A king, he takes the whole table. But you're still sitting there waiting for life to hand you something. Let me tell you something, it won't. Nobody's gonna knock on your door and say, hey, here's success on a silver plate. You gotta chase it down, you gotta grab it by the throat and make it yours. You wanna know why most people fail? Because they stop. They get a taste, and then success, they get comfortable. That's what they lose. That's when the next guy, hungrier, meaner, more ruthless, takes their spot. The world doesn't care how hard you work to get here. It only cares if you can stay. There's no such thing as enough. There's no finish line. You don't stop when you're tired. You stop when you're untouchable. They'll tell you to slow down. They'll say you're too greedy, too ambitious, too obsessed. Yeah? Good. Because the ones who settle, the ones who listen to that weak talk, they're forgotten. Their names disappear. They die twice. Once when they stop breathing, and again when nobody remembers they ever existed. But you keep moving, you keep pushing, you take. Because legends aren't made by playing it safe. They're made by men who look at the world and say, that's mine, that's mine. That's the only mindset that builds something worth remembering. You don't ask, you don't wait, you don't hope. You take. Because hope is for the weak. For the ones sitting on their hands praying for a miracle. They don't happen. Not for people like you, not for people like me. You know what happens? The guy who waits and watches another man take what you lose. Watches opportunity walk right past him. Watches his own damn life slip through his fingers because he was too scared to grab it. And when he finally wakes up, it's too late. The world has already forgotten his name. But that ain't gonna be you, right? You don't settle. You don't back down. You don't wait your turn. Because there ain't no turns in this game. There's only what you take. And if you ain't taking, somebody else is. See, the ones who make it, they got one thing in common. It ain't luck, it ain't talent. It sure as hell ain't fairness. It's hunger. The kind that don't let you sleep at night. The kind that keeps your mind racing, your heart pounding, your blood boiling. It's a sickness, really. A good one. A sickness of never being satisfied. And that's what separates them from the nobodies. The nobodies get comfortable. They hit one little goal and think they made it. They buy the car, the house, take the vacation, and then what? They slow down. They start believing in their own hype, thinking they can relax. But the second they relax, there's another man waiting. Another man who's still hungry, still moving, still taking. And he takes everything they built. That's how it works. You slow down, you die. You settle, you disappear. There's always someone behind you watching, waiting for you to slip. That's why you never slip. That's why you wake up every day like you ain't got nothing. Like you still gotta prove yourself. Because you do, every damn day. You think a lion wakes up and says, I hunted yesterday, so today I'll take it easy. Number A, lion wakes up and hunts again. Because if he don't, he starves. And in this world, you either hunt or you get hunted. There ain't no middle ground. So tell me, what's gonna be? You're gonna be the man who takes or the one who watches. Because the ones who take, they don't care about fair. They don't care about playing nice. They don't care if people like them. They only care about one thing, winning. And let me tell you something about winning. It don't come with comfort. It don't come with peace. It comes with blood, sweat, and a whole lot of people praying for your downfall. That's the price. You got to love that place. You got to enjoy it. The late nights, the stress, the fights, the enemies. Because if you can't handle that, you can't handle the top. The top ain't for people who want it easy. It's for the ones who can take the pain and keep going. They're gonna call you crazy, greedy, ruthless. Let them. The same people calling you that, they're the ones stuck in the same damn place year after year, making excuses, watching men like you pass them by. When they see you rise, they'll say you changed. Damn right you changed. You stopped thinking like a loser. You stopped settling for good enough. You started acting like you own the place. That's how legends are made. You ever hear stories about the ones who played it safe? Number, because nobody remembers them. They live quiet, they die quiet. But the ones who burned for something, the ones who refuse to stop, those are the names history keeps. The ones who saw what they wanted and didn't stop until they got it. You think the world hands power to the deserving? Number, power is taken. Respect is forced. People only respect what they fear losing. So when you walk into a room, make sure they feel it. Make sure they know they're in the presence of someone who ain't gonna stop until he's on top. And when you get to the top, you don't relax. You build, you expand, you protect what's yours with everything you got. Because the moment you think you made it, that's when someone hungrier than you comes knocking. That's why you gotta stay sharp, you gotta stay moving. You gotta wake up every day like you still got everything to prove. Because you do. The world don't care what you did yesterday. The world only cares about what you're doing today. So get up, get moving, get obsessed. Because if you don't, somebody else will. And they'll take everything you thought was yours. But not you. You ain't gonna be one of them. You ain't gonna be a name people forget. You ain't gonna be a man who almost made it, almost had it, almost became something. And you're gonna be a legend. And legends? They never settle. You think you got time, huh? You think you can take it slow, ease into it, wait for the right moment? Let me tell you something. There is no right moment. There's only now. Right now. The second you waste is the second some other guy is using to get ahead of you. That's how you fall behind. That's how you lose. Before you even knew you were in a fight. No loses. The man who hesitates, the man who waits for everything to be perfect, the man who listens to doubt instead of shutting it up and doing what needs to be done. The world don't stop spinning just because you're unsure. It don't care about your fears, your worries, your second thoughts. It just keeps moving. And if you ain't moving with it, you're already dead. You ever wonder why some people make it and some don't? It ain't luck, it ain't destiny. It's who's willing to go further. Who's willing to wake up every day and push even when they're tired, even when they're bleeding, even when the world is throwing every damn obstacle in their way. Because that's what separates the men who make history from the men who get forgotten. It's about how much you can take, how much you can sacrifice, how much pain you can eat and still come back from it. You want to be great? Then get ready to suffer. Get ready to lose sleep, lose friends, lose anything that ain't pushing you forward. Because the truth is, you can't take everyone with you. Not everybody's built for this. Not everybody wants it bad enough. Some people just want to get by. They want to be comfortable, they want to be safe. You can't be that guy. Safe don't build empires. Safe don't make history. Safe don't put your name on the map where you can never do this. And let me tell you something. When you start rising, when they see you pulling ahead, they're gonna count for you. They're gonna try to slow you down. They're gonna whisper in your ear, "Hey man, take a break. Relax, you already made it." They don't want you to keep going because every step you take reminds them they're still stuck. Every win you get is a mirror showing them their losses, and they can't handle that. So what do? They try to drag you back down, try to convince you that you should be happy where you are, that you don't need more, that wanting more makes you greedy, makes you ruthless. But let me tell you something. Greedy, ruthless, good. Because the ones who make it, the ones who leave something behind, they don't apologize for wanting more. They don't say sorry for refusing to be just another face in the crowd. They don't sit down when the world tells them to. They stand, they fight, they take what's theirs. And if that makes them the bad guy, so be it. Because the truth is, the ones who call you greedy are the same ones who take what you have if they could. They'd switch places with you in a heartbeat. But they don't got the guts, they don't got the hunger. So instead of stepping up, they try to pull you down. That's why you can't let up. That's why you can't let them get in your head. Because once you start doubting yourself, once you start listening to people who ain't done nothing with their lives, that's when you start slipping. That's when you start thinking small. That's when you start settling. And you don't settle. Not for a little bit of money, not for a little bit of success, not for a little bit of recognition. You keep going until your name means something, until people hear it and know exactly who the hell you are. Because if they don't know you, you don't exist. Think about that. Think about how many men lived and died and nobody remembers their name. They had dreams, they had plans, but they played it safe. They let fear win. And now they're nothing, just a whisper in the wind. But the ones who burned for something, the ones who didn't stop, the ones who refused to accept anything less than greatness, those are the names you remember. Those are the names that never die. You want that? Then act like it. Stop talking about it and be about it. Stop making excuses and start making moves. Stop thinking you got time because you don't. Every second you waste is a second you don't get back. You ever think about that? You ever think about how short this life is? About how every day you don't chase what you want is a day you're never getting back? Because while you're sitting around, waiting for the perfect moment, somebody else is out there taking everything you're too scared to reach for. And one day, you're gonna wake up and realize you waited too long. That all those chances you thought you had, they're gone. That the time to build your empire was yesterday, and now it's too late. But you don't want that. You don't want to be another story about a guy who almost made it. You don't want to be the guy who had potential but wasted it. You don't want to be the guy who gets old and bitter because he let fear keep him small. Nah, but you want more. You want everything. Then take it. Forget what they say. Forget what they think. Forget the rules that were made to keep you in line. Rules are for men who follow. And you were made to lead. So lead. Keep pushing, even when it hurts. Keep taking, even when they tell you to stop. Keep building, even when they say you've built enough. Because enough is never enough. And one day, when you're standing at the top, looking down at everything you conquered, you're gonna thank yourself. You're gonna look back and realize that every sacrifice, every risk, every moment of doubt you fought through, it was worth it. Because now you're a name they can't ignore. Now you're a legend. The world don't remember the ones who played it safe. It don't remember the ones who backed down when things got hard. It don't care about the guys who almost made it, who had big dreams but no guts to chase them. No, the world remembers the ones who took what they wanted, the ones who never stopped pushing, the ones who refused to die quiet. You ever think about that? About what's going to be left of you? They're gonna remember what you built. They're gonna remember what you took. Gonna remember how you never settled for anything less than what you deserve. And if you ain't thinking like that, then what the hell are you doing? Because this life, it ain't about getting by, it ain't about being comfortable. It's about dominating. It's about making sure that when they talk about power, about money, about respect, your name is the first one that comes to mind. And you don't get that by being soft. You don't get that by playing by the rules somebody else wrote for you. You get that by breaking those rules, by writing your own, by making the world play your game instead of following theirs. Because let me tell you something, if you ain't running the game, you're getting played. And the second you stop moving, the second you start thinking you made it, that's the second they come to you. That's the second some other guy, hungrier than you, takes your spot. So tell me, how bad do you want this? How bad do you want to wake up every day knowing you own your life? Knowing nobody can tell you what to do, where to go, how to think? Because that's the difference between the ones at the top and the ones getting stepped on. The ones at the top, they never let up, they never slow down. They wake up every morning like they're still starving, like they still got something to prove. And that's gotta be you. Because if it's not, if you start thinking you can take it easy, if you start thinking you can just coast, you're done. Somebody else is gonna take everything you work for. Somebody else is gonna outwork you, outthink you, outfight you. And when that happens, nobody's gonna feel sorry for you. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna be the guy they talk about, or the guy that forgets? You're gonna be the one calling the shots, or the one taking orders? Because there ain't no middle ground, there ain't no good enough. There's only winning and losing. And if you ain't winning, then what the hell are you doing? I don't care how tired you are. I don't care how many times you got knocked down. I don't care if the world's telling you it's impossible. The world don't decide what you can do. You do. So stop acting like you got limits. Stop acting like you got all the time in the world. You don't. Every second you waste is a second you ain't getting back. Every minute you sit around thinking instead of doing is a minute somebody else is using to get ahead of you. And one day when you look back, you're either gonna be proud or you're gonna be full of regrets. You're either gonna say, I built something that can never be erased. Or you're gonna say, I wish I would have done more. And if you got any sense, you know which one. Because the ones who regret, the ones who let fear win, they don't get another shot. They don't get a do-over. When time's up, it's up. So don't waste it. Don't settle. Don't listen to the weak voices telling you to slow down, to be happy with what you got, to be grateful for just a little. Grateful? You think the ones at the top were grateful for crumbs? You think they sat back and said, this is enough number? They wanted more. They took more. And that's why they're remembered while everybody else is forgotten. That's why their names are carved into history while everybody else's fades into nothing. So you tell me, how do you want to be remembered? You want to be the guy who almost made it? The guy who was good enough? Or do you want to be the name they never forget? Do you want to be a legend? Then act like it, move like it, work like it, take everything like it. Because legends don't settle, and neither do you. You ever notice how the ones who settled always got an excuse? Always got some reason why they couldn't go all the way? Oh, I tried. Oh, it wasn't the right time. Oh, I had too much to do. You know what that is? Just dressed up. Because the truth, they were scared. Scared of failing, scared of looking stupid, scared of losing what little they already had. You know what real men do? They miss. They put everything on the line because they know playing it safe don't get you. You think the greats held back? You think the ones who built empires hesitated? Number. They went all in. They knew that if they fell, they'd get back up. And if they fell again, they'd get back up again and again and again. Because that's what separates winners from losers. Losers quit. Winners don't. You think you want it bad? Prove it. You think you're willing to do whatever it takes? Then show it. Because talk don't mean a damn thing. Everybody talks. Everybody says they want success, power, respect, but when it's time to actually do the work, they disappear. And that's why so few make it. That's why so many end up being just another nobody. Because the grind, it don't stop. The fight, it don't get easier. The world don't just hand you what you want because you wished for it. You gotta be willing to get your hands dirty. You gotta be willing to go where most men won't. That's how you separate yourself. That's how you rise. And let me tell you something, when you start rising, people are gonna hate you for it. They're gonna look at you and see everything they could have been if they wanted to them weak. They'll try to tear you down. Try to make you doubt yourself. They'll tell you you're selfish, that you're doing too much, that you should be happy with what you got. You know what you tell them? Nothing. Because their words don't matter. Their opinions don't mean a thing. The only thing that matters is what you do. You keep moving, you keep building, you keep taking. Because the second you stop to argue with nobodies, you become one of them. And that ain't gonna be you. You weren't made to be another face in the crowd. You weren't built to just exist. You were built to own this world, to carve your name into it so deep that nobody can erase it. But that don't happen by accident. It don't happen by luck. It happens because you refuse to accept anything less. You ever wonder why some men walk into a room and everybody stops? Why some men get respect before they even open their mouth? It ain't because they were born special. It's because they made themselves special. They earned that power, and you can too. Every second you waste is a second you ain't getting back. Every moment you hesitate, somebody else is getting stronger, getting sharper, getting hungrier. And one day, you're gonna wake up and realize it's too late. That all the chances you had, all the opportunities you let slip, they're gone. And you're gonna have to live with that. But that ain't you, right? You're not gonna be that guy. You're gonna be the one who takes what's his, the one who never stops moving, the one who builds something so big, so untouchable, that the world has no choice but to remember him. Because that's what it means to be a legend. That's what it means to never settle. And when they ask how you did it, when they ask how you climbed so high while they stayed stuck in the mud, you won't even have to answer, because they'll already know.